What is Anatman in Buddhism? If you're curious about the concept of Anatman in Buddhism, you're about to uncover a fundamental aspect of Buddhist philosophy that can change how you think about yourself and the world. To start, let's break down the word Anatman. It comes from the Sanskrit words an, meaning not, and atman, which is often translated as self or soul. In Buddhism, Anatman, or anatta in Pali, is the doctrine that there is no permanent, unchanging self or essence. Imagine you're looking at a chariot. You might think of the chariot as a single entity, but it's actually made up of many parts: the wheels, the frame, the axle. If you take away all these parts, what's left that you can call the chariot? Similarly, in Buddhism, the concept of self is seen as a collection of various components like the body, consciousness, feelings, perceptions, and karmic activities. These components are constantly changing, so there's no single permanent self. This idea is rooted in three key characteristics of existence: anatta, no self; anicca, impermanence; and dukkha, suffering or dissatisfaction. Everything in life is impermanent, and this impermanence is a core reason why the concept of a permanent self doesn't hold up. We change with every experience, every moment, so the idea of a constant self becomes irrelevant. The Buddha was reacting to the Brahminic tradition of his time, which believed in an eternal, unchanging Atman or soul. In contrast, the Buddha's teachings emphasize that this belief in a permanent self is a source of suffering. By recognizing that we are just bundles of ever-changing processes, we can reduce our attachment to this idea of self and live more peaceful lives. In practice, this means focusing on the present moment rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Buddhist cultures emphasize living in the here and now because they understand that change is the only constant. This approach helps in avoiding the misconceptions about reality that lead to suffering. The concept of Anatman is not about denying the existence of people or their experiences, but about understanding that these experiences are not tied to a permanent underlying essence. It's a way to break free from the ego's grasp and find liberation from the cycle of rebirth and suffering. So, in essence, Anatman in Buddhism is about recognizing that our sense of self is a convenient fiction, a shorthand for the many changing processes that make us who we are. It's a powerful tool for reducing suffering and finding peace in a world where everything is constantly in flux.